The crisp spring air carried the scent of blooming lilac as Alexandra hurried down the street, her heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and determination. The handwritten letter clutched in her hand was a stark reminder of the vulnerability of helpless creatures. A man named John had written, his words filled with concern and helplessness, about a tiny, sickly kitten he'd found abandoned near his apartment building. John, himself struggling financially, couldn't take the kitten in, and the thought of the tiny creature suffering alone chilled him to the bone. Reaching the designated address, Alexandra saw John standing by his door, a worried expression on his face. "The kitten is here," he said, his voice tight with emotion, under the bushes near the back of the building. "I've been checking on him regularly, leaving food and water, but he doesn't seem to be getting any better." Alexandra's heart ached for the little creature. The thought of a tiny kitten, so fragile and innocent, being abandoned in the cold was unbearable. She knelt down by the bushes, her eyes scanning the ground. There, nestled amongst the leaves, lay a tiny, gray ball of fluff. His eyes were cloudy and crusted, his tiny body trembling. He was barely bigger than Alexandra's hand, but even in his weakened state, his amber eyes held a flicker of hope. Alexandra gently scooped him up, cradling him against her chest. His fur was matted and his tiny body felt surprisingly thin. He meowed weakly, a barely audible sound that sent a wave of sadness through her. She named him Toby. The veterinarian's office was a flurry of activity, the scent of disinfectant mingling with the familiar warmth of worried pet owners. The doctor, a kind-faced woman with gentle hands, examined Toby carefully. His eyes were badly infected, and his body was riddled with parasites. She spoke softly to Alexandra, explaining that Toby's chances were slim, but they were going to do everything they could to save him. Alexandra spent the next few days at the vet's, feeding Toby formula with a tiny syringe, giving him his medication, and showering him with love. The doctor was impressed with Alexandra's dedication, her fierce determination to give Toby a fighting chance. She told Alexandra that Toby was incredibly resilient, but that he needed time. Alexandra visited Toby every day, bringing him toys, singing to him softly, and giving him endless cuddles. Slowly, Toby began to recover. His eyes cleared, his fur grew thick and shiny, and his tiny body filled out. He was no longer the fragile kitten she'd found, but a playful, mischievous ball of energy. Alexandra felt a lump in her throat, her eyes welling up. She had given Toby a chance, but Toby, in turn, had given her something precious: the joy of watching a helpless creature overcome adversity, the strength of knowing she had made a difference, and the love of a tiny kitten who had fought for his life. As Alexandra left the vet's that day, Toby purring contentedly in his carrier, she knew that she would never forget the day she found him.